Hello, sisters, and welcome to the Art of Spiritual Living online retreat. My name is Elizabeth Foley, and I am an artist and a creative catalyst. I help women get over their creative blocks and get in touch with their creative spirit. We are joined today by Alexis Cohen, and I'm going to tell you all about her in just a moment. We're going to be doing some shamanic journeying and learning about shamanism and meeting our spirit guides. So before we dive into today, I want to take a moment for us to all get present here together so we can really get the most out of this time together. So I'm going to invite you right now with me to just close your eyes and just bring your attention to your breath. Just noticing your breath as it's passing in and out of your body. Feeling your breath as it's passing in and out of your nostrils. Feeling your chest rising and falling. Now noticing anything that's come before this moment, anything that's weighing on you, anything that's keeping you from being fully present. Let's take a deep breath in together. And as we exhale, just let that all go. And now noticing anything that's coming in the future, anything you're nervous about or anxious about. Let's take a deep breath in together. And as we exhale, just let that go. Now let's take one final deep breath together, just bringing ourselves fully into this moment, right here, right now. If you'd like to keep your eyes closed for just another moment, I'm going to share a reading with you today. This is called Creativity by an artist named Shaded Lamp. Is it the ship on the ocean or the swelling of the seas, the sparkling constellations or the swirling galaxies? Back to the ship and the captain, the charts rolled out for her. There lays creativity. Time to lower the anchor, for creativity is not points A or B. It is the process of getting there. Easier if you own the right map, possible for any that dare to dare. So I'm going to invite you to open your eyes. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Alexis. Alexis Cohen is a visionary artist, women's creativity mentor, and shamanic practitioner. Alexis supports women as they heal and strengthen their connection to their power and intuition so they can birth their creative work into the world. Women are stepping up in new and powerful ways, and Alexis is passionate about supporting this new rising tide of women creatives, healers, and innovators. Alexis supports women through all their creative processes, including art, writing, ceremony, and childbirth. With a decade-long background as a doula, Alexis finds that her work in birth has beautifully woven into her current practices and has transformed the way she sees her life and the lives and experiences of her clients. So welcome, Alexis. Great to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me to this beautiful event.
Yeah. So before we talk more about shamanism, I want to dig a little into what spirituality means to you.
Yeah, I love that question. What does spirituality mean to me? Well, I think it's, just very, very essentially, it's my relationship to spirit. And it's ever evolving, and I'm becoming more and more intimate with it, and it's deepening and it's getting more dimensional as I explore different modalities and challenge myself in different ways. And actually, it's perfect for your event. The more creative and the more ambitious I am with my creative projects, I'm testing the boundaries and my relationship with spirit, because I'm creating things that are so much bigger than me. There's no way that I could do it alone. So I'm really calling on my relationship and strengthening my connection to spirit and the divine in order to birth these creative visions that I've only ever dreamed of.
That's great. That's great. So tell us a little bit, like, what are the spiritual practices that serve you? You know, what does it look like for you to live a spiritual life?
So at this point, it's being connected to spirit really at all times. And this kind of weaves in a bit to, you know, mindfulness practices and also shamanism, where in shamanism, it's the idea of having a foot in both worlds. And I'll talk a little bit about this later, but having a foot in the physical world and the spiritual world at all times. So, you know, that's kind of what I'm really focusing on these days. Almost meditating with my eyes open a lot more than I used to. But I definitely, having that time in the morning, I try to block off 2 to 3 hours every single morning to meditate, to draw, and to write, and to run. And those are all of those practices, I would say, are they're all my spiritual practices.
Yeah. I love that you said to run. Personally, I'm not a big runner, but I love that it's like the idea. Yeah, I run if I'm chasing my child or running from a bear. But I like it because it's like bringing in the idea that, like, we often tend to think of spirituality as like, it's just when we're like going to church, or it's just when we're sitting on a pillow and meditating or something like that. But it's something that can be brought into all different aspects of our lives.
Absolutely. And, you know, we're going to talk about spirit guides, and all of those practices that I mentioned. It's essentially, I'm connecting to my spirit guides through all of those different channels. And running is an interesting one for me. And it's such a mental thing. And when I run or I train for a half marathon or something like that, I'm going into these other realms of reality and moving past what I think is possible for myself. And there's a deep connection to my body, because there can't be any mental chatter, because I have to really focus on being so present with my body and actually encouraging her sometimes, like every moment. And it weaves this intimacy with myself that because it's such an extreme challenge, I don't really find that in other places. And I was a birth doula for a long time. I know you have a child, and I would see that, you know, the things that I say to myself when I'm running are very similar to what I would say to women in labor, or what I would hear them saying to themselves. So there's just an element of physical challenge that opens up this spiritual realm for me.
Yeah, I can see that. Mine is swimming. And there's like a meditative place of like the breath work of swimming is something, but yeah, that like physical challenge thing, it gets you to a different place. So tell us a little bit more about shamanism. I know that there's some women watching right now that are like, they have no idea what shamanism is, or they're thinking of, you know, something kind of weird with a lot of smoke. I don't know, that's what comes to mind.
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes, I'm very happy to talk about it. Yes, there's a lot of smoke, but that's smudging. So there's a lot of, you know, with sage or, you know, other incense where we're clearing the space. But shamanism, in a nutshell, it's earth-based wisdom. And shamanism is at the core, actually, of all religions. And a shaman, and there's, you know, a lot of places that are still practicing cultural shamanism, or, you know, our shamanic tribes. And in shamanic tribes, the shaman is the medicine person, is a leader, is the artist, is a visionary, and healers. And so the role of the shaman is to observe and lead, to travel into the world of spirit and the unseen, and come back to their tribe with visions, healings for, you know, sometimes people are sick and they come to them, and so they offer healings to people, and visionary art to communicate what they are seeing in the spirit world. So again, shamans it's called the hollow bone. And another word for that is really a creative channel. And so what I love about shamanism, especially working with artists, is shamanism is this really beautiful bridge. I actually work with a lot of artists and healers that are moving into a new territory with their work, where the desire is to weave their healing practice and their creative practice into one thing. And it's an offering out to the world. And so oftentimes what I have seen, and even with myself included, it's like feeling pulled, or you have to make a decision, or like you're doing this for a little while and you're doing this for a little while. And so what I love about shamanism, it's like, okay, what can we do to really bring them both forward to their full expression? And it's actually creating something new. So yeah, shamanic practices are a really beautiful weaving of healing and creative practices.
I love that. That's pretty awesome. So you mentioned earlier spirit guides. So tell us a little bit more about what spirit guides are and how we can connect with spirit guides.
Absolutely. So another piece about shamanism, so I practice a form, it's called core shamanism, where it's a study of, so there's been a study of all shamanic cultures, and there's a few things that all shamanic cultures have in common. So like tribes and cultures that there was no way that they could have connected or been communicating with each other, but they have similar qualities, all of them. And so one of the things that all shamanic cultures have in common is that they work with spirit guides or helping spirits, and they practice a form of meditation called the shamanic journey, where you are entering into the world of the unseen, connecting to these spirit guides, and coming back with the wisdom, the vision, the information for the tribe. So shamanic journeying is one way that you can connect with guides, but spirit guides, and just from my filter, my experience, spirit guides are compassionate beings from other dimensions, other realms, or they can be fields of higher consciousness that come in. You see spirit guides in many different forms through a lot of different religions. You see them in the form of deities. You can see them in the form of gods and goddesses. Power animals is a very shamanic way of seeing them. Archetypes, fairies, different elements in nature. What else? I know I'm missing some. But you know what I'm saying. It's like we see this in different religions and different spiritual practices, that there are these allies that come forward that carry a particular medicine with them, and a specific consciousness with them. So that is my definition of what a spirit guide is.
Yeah. So you mentioned that there was different ways to connect with your spirit guides, and I know in a little bit you're going to lead us on a shamanic journey to connect. What are the other ways?
So what I would say is that spirit guides want to connect at all times. They are available to support you and to offer healings for you and to guide you on your way at all times. And so this is about learning how to open up to the language of your guides. And everyone connects with their spirit guides in different ways. So I just want to say there's no right or wrong way to connect with your spirit guides. And this is just about opening up to the possibility that there is this kind of guidance and support available to you. So some people are very, very visual. So they see, it's like they, sometimes you can even see it in ordinary reality. So this is another thing. Shamanism, we talk about ordinary reality, which is the spirit world, the physical world. And the non-ordinary reality is the world right beyond, beyond the veil in the spirit world. So, if this is resonating with you, you might have had experiences where you see something at the corner of your eyes, or you've had an experience where the world of spirit has broken through and you've had an interaction like that, or you have sensed a guide in your space. And so what I would just say is, just tune in. Like, is this presence compassionate and loving? If you're feeling a higher vibration and a sense of well-being, with the presence coming into your space, you can really open up to it. So some people are very visual. I know I'm very visual in the sense that when I close my eyes, I can see what's going on. I can see better with my eyes closed. Some people hear their guides, smell their guides, get a taste in their mouth. They might feel their guides through their intuition. I have several clients right now who feel their guides as rushes of energy through their bodies and their systems. So this is about opening up to your language and your way of communicating with the guides.
I love you mentioned at some point to open to the possibility, and that would be my encouragement to anybody who's listening right now that maybe is like, maybe I don't want to do this video or something. It's just like, stay open-minded and open to the possibility that this might be something for you, and give it a shot. It's always worth kind of exploring some new territory. My encouragement to everybody is always to choose, like, if you can't do all the sessions, choose the ones that you're most called to, and then choose the ones that are like most triggering for you too. So if this is like triggering, like, don't stop now, keep going,
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, just, I think that's a really good point. So, if the phrase spirit guide is triggering to you, you can also connect to a part of yourself that has the best intention for yourself, your higher self, your Buddha nature, anything like that. If it's feeling super duper uncomfortable to think of it as a being outside of yourself, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all connected. So it doesn't even really matter. It's just, if you have a positive experience with this and you access more information and healing, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So my next question for you is, in what ways can connecting to our spirit guides serve us and help us and benefit us in our lives? You touched on some of that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, man, it's so much. This is having an ally, a true ally. And, just in the context of creativity and birthing a creative vision, again, we're going into and we're accessing these visions and these dreams in the world of spirit, in the world of the unseen. So having an inner council of allies and guidance, I mean, it's so invaluable, especially when you're birthing a creative vision. It can be easy to get distracted, or I know for a lot of creative women, there could be we have a million ideas, right? And which one do I do? So guides can really help focus. Guides are incredible, and we'll do a little bit of this today, clearing obstacles and healing at the root of what is arising when you're taking a risk. Because so much women are becoming more visible, right? We're getting more confident and stepping forward with our creative gifts. And so what's common there is our stuff can come up. So guides can really help to clear that fear and help us hold greater frequencies, so our vision and our love is stronger than the obstacles that are arising.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to dive in. Are you ready to take us on a journey?
Yes, let's go on a journey.
So what do we need to know before we go in? Do we need anything for this journey?
Well, what I would say is being in a place that is private. So if you are driving or walking, I mean, if you're walking, you can sense into what is arising for you in your environment, but absolutely, if you're driving, I would suggest doing this later. And, having a spot that you can fully release into and relax your body. And before we start, I'll lead you through, a grounding, and we're going to set our intention. Also, if you want to have an eye pillow or something over your eyes, you know, if you're anything like me, sometimes it's easier to see when it's darker. It's easier to see into the spirit worlds with like an eye pillow, but you don't have to. But those are just some suggestions.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay. Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. I'm going to take a little water.
Okay. And I know also when we were talking before, you mentioned that you might want to have your journal nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, we can tune into the messages our spirit guides have for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for that reminder. Yeah, I have, you know, when I was saying that practice that I have in the morning, I have my art journal. I call it my guidebook because, again, guides connect with you in many different ways through writing. You can ask your guides a question, and I can talk about this later, but you know, they come in many different forms. They can write to you through images, through your dreams. So I always have a little journal close by called my guidebook.
I love that you call it your guidebook. That's cute.
All right, my friends. All right. Can you hear me? Just
yeah.
pulled up. Okay. All right. So why don't you close your eyes? And just feeling the support underneath you. Just feeling the earth. So just feeling the support of the surface underneath you. And feeling the support of the earth. Feeling the strength and vastness of the earth. And just notice your breath. Notice where your breath goes as you breathe in, and where your breath goes as you breathe out. And just seeing this gentle rhythm between your inner world and your outer world. With each breath, just drawing more and more deeply into that internal landscape. And just allowing yourself to feel this relaxation and warmth and light at the top of your head. And just see if you can sense or imagine this warmth and relaxation down into your head and face, releasing any tension, releasing all of the muscles around your eyes and cheeks and jaw. Releasing the jaw, your tongue resting gently at the top of your mouth. Your jaw slightly opened. And just allowing this warmth and relaxation, moving down your neck and throat, just releasing your neck and throat. Releasing your chest, any tension in your shoulders and arms. And just allowing this warmth and relaxation to just continue to cascade down your body, down your back, and your belly. Into your womb space. Just bringing some attention to your womb space and pelvis. Taking some nice cleansing breaths into your belly, into that womb space area. And the womb is the creative seat, the creative center of a woman. And just feeling that connection. And just continuing to bathe yourself in this warmth and light and relaxation, moving down into your bottom and your legs and feet. Just feeling so relaxed and filled with this relaxation. You just notice that it's inside of you and it's also all around you. This warmth and relaxation is inside of you and supporting you. And just noticing what that feels like. Take another deep breath and release into the support and the relaxation that is all around you. It's like holding you. This relaxation is holding you as you feel safe, opened, and expanded, just softening into this relaxation that is all around you. And as you open in this way, just noticing how your inner senses are opening as well. They're expanding as well. So releasing and opening your inner vision, your inner hearing, your inner sense of smell, taste, touch, and that sixth sense to open widely. And taking a nice deep breath and just softening into this light and relaxation that is supporting you. And the intention is to connect with your spirit guide of creativity. You may experience this guide in any way. It might be a light, a sound, a feeling. You might experience this guide as a being, a human, angel, or archetype. It might be an element in nature, or any other way that your guide would like to communicate with you and show itself to you. Just allowing the guide to arise through any or all of your senses. There's no right or wrong way to connect with your guide. And so just allow this guide, this compassionate being, a part of yourself, a power greater than you that has your highest good and the highest good of all, to come forward, to emerge from the light, to arise within you, or to make contact with you in any way that feels natural to you. And just taking a nice deep breath. And you're just noticing. It might be a sense of well-being or a deeper sense of relaxation. This guide might show itself very visually to you, or just get a sense of this guide or hear it. And just opening to this guidance in whatever way feels best to you. Intention is connecting to your guidance of creativity. And just noticing the characteristics of this guide and how you feel in your body as you make contact with this guidance. And you're just going to ask for a general message from this guide at this time. And again, it might be spoken, it might be a deep knowing or a sense, it might be an action that the guide is performing or showing you. Whatever this guide is communicating to you, just allowing it to emerge, letting go of micromanaging any of the interaction with this guide. And just listening or feeling or sensing that message, that general message that your guide of creativity is communicating with you. And just feeling what it's like in your body to receive that message. And seeing, just opening that line of communication with your guide. If there's anything else that the guide would like to point out to you, it's opening that dialogue, that clear and consistent communication between you and your guide. You can ask the guide, what is the one thing? What is the next step you would like to communicate with me that will bring me closer to my creative dreams? What is the one step I can take today that will bring me closer to my creative dreams? And just listening to the guide. And just continue to relax and expand into this energetic field that this guide is vibrating on. Feeling yourself expand and relax into the messages that you have received today. And just knowing that more insights will continue to dial in for you as your day and week roll on. And so just thanking the guides for showing up today, knowing that you can connect with this guide at any time. And we're just going to start to make our way back, knowing this guide is always there and feeling the surface underneath you. Changing your breathing, taking a nice deep breath, taking a big stretch, acknowledging that you're coming back into the room, swimming back to the surface of the room, like a deep sea diver coming back to the surface of the water, and taking your time and opening your eyes whenever you're ready. How was that for you?
That was great. It's always so hard to find words after we go on that kind of journey. It's like, when I set out to create this event, no one told me how hard this part would be. Talking about those kinds of deep inner experiences afterwards, yeah, it's a new challenge.
Yeah. And I mean, and this is what's so cool about, this is what shamanism is speaking to, is that creative integration of bringing, the visions and the information that you're getting in this deep way. So the next step, integration step, the boons of the journey is really to express it. So what I would suggest to you and the audience is to carve some time out after this and write your experience. And what you'll see in writing the experience is more insights will come to you. It's like when you dream journal, it's like you think you just remembered a couple parts of it, and then you start writing, you're like, whoa, I remember so much more. You start making connections. So I suggest doing that in your guidebook. And then also, I'm sure you're having some artists on here talking about intuitive art. So that's a really wonderful way to integrate where, so what I would suggest is anyway, painting, drawing, however you do it, bringing forward this guide. And if it was more abstract for you, that's fine. It's using colors that this guide evoked for you. It might be very literal for some of you, like it was a woman with flowers in her hair or something.
Okay, that's what mine was. So
mine too.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, I guess she was showing up. So that's cool. So yeah, so it might be, but even if it is a woman with flowers in her hair and there's some, don't get caught up on the artistic ability there. It's like, what does she evoke for you? Maybe it's just a painting of flowers. That's her medicine, or there's something else. So have fun with how you bring this forward, but the intention is to stay close with the energy field and the frequency of that guide.
So a question I have, and this time was very different for me. Usually when I do something like this, I actually don't often see things. So that's kind of my question for you. What do you say to the people that are having that experience? If they're like, I didn't really see anything, or because I know this has happened to me too, I fell asleep. Um, yeah.
Yes, there is no right or wrong way. So if I start working with somebody and they conk out, the information that I gather from that is they're exhausted and they've been operating, they've been pushing themselves. So they're fried. And so any connection to this other frequency, they're really tired. So there's, on one hand, it's like it's information that you need to rest, go take a nap. But if you are, you're committed to practicing, doing that journey, connecting to your guide, don't do it lying down. Do it sitting up and being really present and just acknowledging that you're tired and going from there. For folks, I have a lot of folks who aren't visual, and kind of going back to what I was talking about before, this is about learning your own language of the guides. And I've had many clients recently who are not seeing it, but what we're seeing is that when they connect to their guides, the guide is communicating with them through energy in their body. And, I have one client that's what's going on. And, now some other things are opening up for her, other ways that she's sensing them. And also there's some guides that show up differently. So I know I have guides sometimes are like really, really visual in my face. And some guides, it's a little bit more ethereal, or I'm hearing it more or sensing them. So there's a wide spectrum of how you can connect with them.
Awesome. I'm so excited to hear what everyone else's experiences are. And also, if you had a woman with flowers in her hair, I want to hear that too. Like, how many people had women with flowers in their hair? And tell us, Alexis, a little bit about your free gift, because that can help to deepen our journey with this process. Is that right?
Absolutely. So the free gift is a creative growth mapping session. And this is a 30-minute call with me where we hone in your creative vision, because the frequency of your creative vision is another guide and anchor. And we also discuss any creative obstacles that might be distracting you or getting in the way of your creative vision. And then we come up with a plan to move you closer to your creative dreams.
Awesome. That sounds fabulous.
Yes.
So everybody, the link for signing up for that is going to be right below this video. So be sure to check that out. That's a very generous offer, Alexis. So I want to encourage all of you to take advantage of that. How often do you get like one-on-one time with a creative visionary? That's awesome. So sign up for that, and then come over and share in the Facebook group. And also just a reminder to invite you to take a little bit of time now with this vision and journal it or draw it, or let yourself go a little deeper as this video is ending before you dive into the next thing or go off to work or whatever it is you have going on today. Take a moment and anchor into this vision, and find out what your message is with your guide, and then we would love to hear what it is in the group. So, thank you so much for being with us today, Alexis. I've really enjoyed this, and thank you to all of you for joining us today as well.
Thank you so much.
Blessings, everyone.